Hey there, Duelists! My name is Jesse, and welcome back to our casual guide to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. So today we're going to be taking a look at your main deck. Now that we've talked about all the different types of cards that go into it, we can finally talk about your deck itself, and what does it consist of, how many cards it's going to have, and what are some good ways that you could build your deck. So your deck itself your main deck can only really consist of about 40 to 60 cards. The trick with that is that the more cards you have, so say if you build a deck of 60 cards, might be a little bit harder for you to get the cards that you need unless you have a lot of cards that allow you to kind of search for your deck. And vice versa, if you have a deck that is too little cards, so say you went to 40, you might not have all the cards you need to kind of keep up with your opponent's moves that they're making, their combos that they're playing. You might even not be able to fully complete all the combos that you have or fully maximize your deck and its potential. So that's why I kind of stick around to a deck that is about 50 cards. Kind of really allows me to get kind of all the cards I could want to kind of fully boost my deck and make it the strongest that it can be. I also kind of stick around the 40 range. 40 is a very nice deck size that you can have because it's going to allow you to really kind of get all the cards that you need easier. You're not going to be struggling, trying to just hoping to draw that card that you need to kind of pull off that win or to counter your opponent's move. That's kind of your deck size, 40 to 60 cards, consisting of monsters, trap, and spell cards. You could build a deck that is just either monster cards or just trap cards or spell cards. There is support out there that allows you to do that. There are also different types of tactics that you can use. There's a wide range of trap cards out there. There's a wide range of spell cards out there. So there's also a wide range of monster cards out there. So if you wanted to do that, you could. The downside of doing that is that your deck isn't going to be very well balanced. So it's going to be very hard for you to kind of keep up with your opponent if they have a balanced deck themselves that is monster, trap, and spell cards, because you're not going to be able to reach up those benefits. For example, if you don't have any counter traps in your deck, you're not going to be able to keep up with your opponent's trap cards or even their own counter traps or their own spell cards. You don't really have anything that's fast enough to kind of keep up with those effects. You might have some monster cards that could do it, maybe even some spells or traps. It really just kind of depends on the cards you choose. So you have to do a lot of research to do it. But my favorite way of building a deck, and kind of the way that I do build a deck is around what we call an archetype. So an archetype is a family or group of cards with kind of a similar name or a key word in it that all the cards have that kind of connects and works well together. So an example of this would be my favorite archetype, or one of my favorite archetypes, and that is the hero archetype. That consists of your elemental heroes that are popular in GX. It also consists of the destiny heroes, the vision heroes, the masked heroes, and the evil heroes. Those are all part of the same archetype, hero archetype. Those other ones are just kind of sub-archetypes. So, like I said, an archetype is a group of cards designed to work around together, so they might have a similar mechanic. So for example, with our elemental heroes, it's very fusion focused. That's where a lot of their more powerful monsters are, as our fusion monsters. So that's kind of the type of deck that it is. It's about getting those fusion monsters out onto the field. But there are also decks out there that are based around destroying your opponent's deck, or banishing cards to the banishment zone, or playing cards from the graveyard, or even taking control of your opponent's cards. There's all sorts of different types of strategies that archetypes are or mechanics archetypes are built around. So look through an archetype and kind of research kind of the archetype and what it does, and then you can build your card that way. You can go through an anime, you can or if you're watching the anime and you see your opponent's using a unique type of cards, an archetype, you can kind of decide to build the deck around that. The anime is kind of a great place to kind of get inspired, or even if it's just a type of cards, you just like bugs, for example, or dragons. You could build the deck around dragons. You can find an archetype around that. There's an archetype for almost every type out there with a different variety of effects. So that is how you build the deck, or kind of just one way of building a deck. That is the main deck itself. This is your main deck. We'll talk about extra decks in another video. Your main deck consists of about 40 to 60 cards. It's going to consist of normal or monster, trap, and spell cards to keep it nice and well and balanced. And you can build it around a strategy, like destroying your opponent's deck, or you can build it around an archetype, like my hero archetype friends here. But that about settles it for decks. Until then, Duelists, I'll catch you next time. And if no one has told you in a while, I am proud of you and you are loved. Keep on rocking, rock stars. Love ya. Mwah.